So far, I'm very excited about the class coming in. I met a lot of needs over across the board, quarterback-wise, running back-wise, receiver-wise, tight end, O-line. Great groups there. D-line, great D-lineman. Defensive end, we're still battling for some guys there, but Josh is phenomenal. Linebacker crew, got two really good linebackers there. I'm very happy with the secondary. I think Marcus Lewis really helped out. I mean, he's a great player. I think reminds me a lot of Terrence Brooks in a lot of ways. Plays corner, plays safety, can do a ton of things. And long guy, except a little longer, about almost 6'1". And then, of course, the guys with McFadden, of course, the guys we already have here, and then very pleased with the early entry guys. They have fit in well with our team. Like I said, a couple of our guys asked me what junior college guys those were. I said, none of those guys are junior college guys. So, I mean, very mature. That group it's in is really fitting in good, but met a lot of needs, and hope, there'll be a couple more, hopefully, before the day's out, or if any, I don't know. But if we're stay right where we're at, I'm very happy because the needs are really met.
I think Marcus said that you guys, when he committed to Florida early on, you guys kind of backed off a little bit.
Well, we always do. I'm not a guy, or our staff isn't. I don't like to just, the guy commits and all of a sudden you turn the heat up. I practice what I preach. I say, listen, if you change your mind, please let us know. Or if we'll call you every once a month and, see if you're interested or see how you're doing, if things change. I don't do that. And then, he did that. And then when he decommitted, we started opening the contact back up, and then it worked out. He was a guy who came down this summer, which we thought was a very good player.
You getting DeAndre, your quarterback situation obviously is pretty good.
It is. I mean, I got two great quarterbacks, DeAndre Johnson, who's already here doing a great job, who's ultimate winner, does a ton of things, had a great career, and then, Francois, who's a very talented guy, can throw it, make all the throws, can run. Both of them have great mobility. They're just natural quarterbacks. Their heads are quarterback. What I'm saying is they think like a quarterback. They're not athletes they're athletic quarterbacks, but they're not athletes who play quarterback. There's a difference. And I think both of them, from that standpoint, are going to be really good players.
Jimbo, when you have so many highly rated guys, other teams aren't going to quit on them until the very last minute. So even though you have them, quote unquote, wrapped up, what's it like?
I hate the last 2 weeks. I hate the last 2 weeks of recruiting because
what about the last 3 hours, like when you wake up?
Well, they do. I mean, it does. I mean, you usually have a decent feel, but there's always one or two that you're always nervous about, and it's just because it's not. And the kids say, well, "Coach, I'm fine. Don't trust." I said, "No, it's not you. I don't trust. It's everybody else." I mean, but it's just that it's just. When you got them and they're great players, you want it's like when you catch a fish, you get it all the way up the boat. You got to put it in the boat. It doesn't officially count, and and you do all that hard. And it's not just that, because most of these guys are 2 and 3 year relationships. Mm-hmm. I mean, these relationships have been built for a long period of time, in season, off season, while you're supposed to be on vacation with your kids and you're talking on the phone or you're spending time. I mean, all that time you take away, and when you lose them, they're heartbreaking. When you get them, they're very rewarding. But you can't take any of it for granted.
With maybe one of those guys, I think DeAndre Francois, that said came in at 9:45. Was it a tense moment waiting for his letter of intent? Because I know there was some.
Well, because of the last week and the things you hear, and we had great conversations. He said he was firm, and I believe we always had a great relationship that way. But again, it's always that way until you put him in the boat. And he even said that, Coach, what I said, it's just it's like Christmas. You what you asked Santa Claus for, and you just hope it's under the tree. You think he's got it in the sleigh, he's got to put it under the tree, and it's just they'll understand. Mm-hmm. I'll tell them one day. It's like I always said, when I got older, I understood my mom and dad a lot more. Once I had kids, what they worry about. When these guys ever get in coaching, they'll understand exactly what I'm talking about, and hopefully they won't to go into something else, be less stressful.
Jimbo, of all the kids that you signed, which one have you had one of the best connections with, or a most notable memory that?
I don't know if there is a notable memory, because we've got great connection with all those kids. I mean, we do build a really strong bond, as everybody does. I mean, I don't say it, like we're doing something that's revolutionary, but we do preach family. We're with them a lot. To me, I think Derwin was very special in the fact that, even and DeAndre Johnson, both those guys, I mean, and Jaquez, I offered them, but Derwin when he was a freshman, he committed. And I mean, that guy's as good a player as there is anywhere, any place, anytime. And he never wavered for 4 years. I mean, you get guys who, even question after, and I'm not saying I wouldn't if I was a kid. They're coming at me and make me think about this, or, Coach, I want to go take that visit, I want to go do this. Derwin James did that for 4 years. You know what I'm saying? DeAndre Johnson was like that. DeAndre Johnson, once he committed for 4, and they never wavered. To me, that says a lot about him. And not that the other kids that did is anything wrong, but that's just very mature and very rare for those things to happen like that.
How much did it help getting guys like Derwin, DeAndre on campus
Huge.
early that you don't have to pay attention to them down the stretch?
It really does, like early signing period. And that's like, I know we're going for that early signing period in December, and it takes the stress level off coach. I still think December's wrong. I think it needs to be in August, because I think that really takes the stress level off coaches. because after all those summer visits, kids know what they're doing. All you know what I'm saying. And then if coaches and open this, if there's a coaching change at the university, then let the kids open back up and go back out. You know what I mean? If they did it, because that would take the stress off of you all during the season of the calling, and it would actually save money, would save tons of things knowing those guys are in, and they can go recruiting for it. But getting those guys here on campus was huge, and they were great they were actually doing a great job recruiting when they were here.
On that note, is having so many guys like that maybe make just for a different feeling day than it was, 10, 15 years ago?
Oh, no doubt, because, you sit and look, and as I said this morning, I said, well, we only got 12, 13, I forgot, and I looked and put the 8 guys up we already had in. I said, oh, that's pretty good. If you just had those 8 right there, you'd be pretty happy. You know what I'm saying? And that'd be a whole class. And it does take, because of, the signing day takes a little of the drama, of getting all those guys in one day, but I would much rather have them in here because now you got them in spring ball, because that's where your numbers vary. And that's where a lot of people wonder why injuries happen in spring ball, because your numbers get so thin. You know what I mean? You get a guy banged up, and then the guy's taking too many reps, and you say don't rep him, but then if you don't have that guy playing, it hurts somebody else's development that you have to, because football's got to be 11 on 11. But getting those guys in is huge. I'd rather have them in.
I think this is the second year where you sign guys at every position group across the board. How important is it just for roster management to keep everything balanced?
It is. You have to. You got to be careful to. There may be a great year of, you may have a DNs or linebackers or something like that, or receivers one year, and you got to be careful not to get too many, because at the end of the day, you got to have it across. It's a team. It's the ultimate team game, and you got to have depth. And that's what those kids today. Well, can I start? Well, maybe you don't, but you're going to play. If you play 40 plays a game and there's 80, what's the difference? You know what I mean? And keeping that. And what those kids don't got to realize too, there's only so many wrecks in the car. Mm-hmm. When you have depth and rotation, it can help you healthy. So when you're playing at that next level, you got to tread on the tires and make some money. But you got to have that depth across the board. It's critical. And that's why I say, as the head coach, I don't keep going back like I'm doing, but I try to GM everything and make sure I make the final decisions, because what happens sometimes, and coordinators do it naturally, they just fight for both sides, and you don't get it evenly distributed across the board.
Jimbo, when you only have maybe like 3 or 4 uncommitted guys that you're deciding on, does it make for maybe a little bit more nervous in that war room, because you're talking about the same 3 or 4 guys, and you're thinking about the same 3 or 4 guys?
No, it makes it a lot more relaxed, because at least you got the majority of your class in, and then you fight it, and then you fight for those, and it lets you individualize those guys a lot more.
Mm-hmm. Quarterbacks, always kind of come in with a little bit more pressure just because of the nature of the position. But do you feel like there's expectations on that position here, given the success that you guys have had here?
Probably so, but I think it's a good thing, and I think that's why guys want to come. And the position itself, like you say, you got to deal with pressure. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think it adds to it anymore, but I think the guys you recruit, they know the expectation of it. I think you get to see a little bit of their inner thinking. You know what I mean? And their true confidence about who they are.
Brian Bell's coach issued a statement about things that happened in the last week, regards to meetings and things like that. What went into the end of deciding not to offer him?
I'd say our administration handles that. If you have any questions, please ask Stan with that. I'm not going to want to comment on that, and I think it's unfair to their family.